Okay, so let's tweet it out. Hopefully get some people coming to join, but if not, this is... a big part of this is just to have this out for posterity, because, as I mentioned on Twitter, the first streams I did on this channel were NieR Automata streams. I had streamed years ago, or years prior to that, before I really understood the platform, just emulating some Game Boy Advance games and, I don't know, kind of playing them, and I didn't really have much of a mic set up or anything. I was just kind of playing video games to no one, and then rejoined the platform with a new account and streamed from this PS4 and streamed to this game. Didn't have the camera at the time, but did have a microphone, and kind of got some of my thoughts down, but I didn't end up playing too much of the game. In fact, I think my save file is still here from that last time I played. Yeah. That'd be it. So last played in, I'm guessing that's February, because the American date would be switched around. So didn't even get to ending A. Played for 8 hours. I think I was playing a lot of the side quests. I'm not sure what I'll be doing this time. I used this screen name as well, which is interesting. Didn't think I would have done that. But anyway, yeah, we're playing NieR Automata. I am going to also probably be uploading this to YouTube. I didn't do it with the last... I was intending to do it with the last NieR Automata playthrough, but didn't get far enough in the game to warrant it, I think. Today's going to be a pretty big stream. I do plan on going into the evening, so could potentially be like a 8-9 hour stream, so I'm prepared. I've got a big bottle of water. I'll be hydrating regularly, including right now. I've got some other toys lying around for reference. I've got my Machine Lifeform plushie that I got in Japan a couple of years ago. I kept the tag on there because I don't know, it's cooler, makes it a fish. I don't remember exactly where I got this from. I may have gotten it from the Square Enix cafe and store. And I've got my copies of NieR Automata, obviously, my physical copy. I reversed the insert because I really liked the art. Like, it's still got the same cover, but then I really like the art on the back in the forest. And I've also got my copies of NieR, later released or known as NieR Gestalt, the first NieR game, and Drakengard for the PS2, which is where this whole saga begins. And I will be talking a little bit about what I understand to be kind of the story of this world, this Yoko Taro designed world, including the link between Drakengard and NieR, and then the links between NieR and Automata. I should probably get used to referring to this as Replicant, maybe, because that's what the re-release is coming out as. This is no longer the canon version of the game. This is with Daddy NieR rather than Brother NieR. NieR being the titular character on the front cover. Originally, sort of like a large, muscular father figure to the daughter, Yona, right? I keep thinking it's Yoha, but it's Yona. I think. I should know that. But now it's the real canon version is the version that was subsequently released on the PS3, NieR Replicant, where NieR is a much slimmer brother rather than father. And he's way more like anime protagonist. He also resembles the Yoha units way more. I don't know if that's an intentional link, but it could just be sort of the animeification of the character. My understanding of it is that Square Enix didn't think this version of the character appealed as much to Japanese audiences. That could be a misunderstanding, but anyway. So I'll go a little bit through that story stuff, I guess, a bit later. Do I have anything else? I got this. We did it. And this is what this stream is celebrating. We got 100 followers. Which, again, as I said on Twitter, not like a crazy high amount, but for someone who doesn't really do much streaming and who isn't pushing it, you know, crazy hard, I do like to tell people about it and invite them if they're interested. Oops, my sound is double. Just mute that. But yeah, 100 followers, not bad. I don't think it's worth celebrating. Worth doing something a little bit special for. So yeah, I'm gonna record this. I'm probably gonna upload. I don't know if I'll edit it, but I'm probably gonna upload it as is to YouTube. So if I do, then hello YouTube, if you're watching it from there. Oh, hey Yash, thank you, appreciate it. I think we just start. Is there anything else? I've got a couple other little treats here. I've got some chocolate pretzels as a snack for endurance, if I need it. And I've got a bottle of sugar-free V. Not my normal choice of energy-giving drink. Normally I'd go for like a can of Boss, the black Boss, but the store was sold out, so I had to settle. I'm not even sure if I'll need that, but just in case I need a bit of a boost later on. What else? Anything else? No. G'day, Steedling. Thanks for joining. Let's go. Let's start. I don't know how much you guys know about this game, or how much you're interested, but feel free to ask questions. I'm going to be a very awake gamer today. That's true, Yash. Thank you. Good joke. Yeah, feel free to ask questions about, let's go with Sleepy, right? As the username. I think that's good. Yeah, feel free to ask questions about this game or any of the other related games. As I mentioned, I got the Drakengard and NieR copies here too for reference. I'm pretty across most of the lore. There's like a lot of specifics that I'm not really across because I haven't played Drakengard 3. I haven't beaten Drakengard 2 either, but I don't think Drakengard 2 has that much to do with the NieR storyline. I know 3 is very crucial. Why they got to be dressed that way? Steedling, that is actually a fascinating question that I think has like a lot of different answers. Also, I'm not sure why the little notification bar that shows chat messages coming up in the corner says nobody's watching, but there's very clearly a couple people watching, so I don't know why it's doing that. Hopefully it sorts itself out. Maybe let's get into the game. If you stick around a little, I'm going to go normal because I don't want to be thinking too much about it. I have played it on hard, but let's just check everything. Language, we want English. That's fine. Yeah, let's do that. Camera, I think we keep everything. Screen brightness is fine. Sound, it's good. We'll change it if we need to. It's been yeah, like a year and a bit, almost 2 years since I played this game, so I will have to refamiliarize myself with the controls. But
everything that lives is designed to end. We are perpetually trapped in a never-ending spiral of life and death. Is this a curse? Or some kind of punishment? I often think about the god who blessed us with this cryptic puzzle, and wonder if we'll ever have the chance to kill him.
Great line. Ties into a lot of the themes. Very striking.
This is Command. Yorha Squadron, come in.
To be here. All units have penetrated the stratosphere.
So we opened the game with a
screen across the board.
With a shmup section, which was very surprising for someone.
This is Operator 6-0. All units confirmed.
Who had played the original NieR.
We've passed the 50-kilometer threshold and are proceeding toward the target.
Understood. Once you reach their anti-air defenses, Proceed to manual attack formation. Then destroy the Goliath-class unit by any means necessary, and gather what data you can.
Understood.
Steven says, very relatable wanting to fight a god. I agree.
12H down. All units activate manual mode and rely on visuals to evade.
Already engaged. Free movement unlocked.
Origin point of long-range lasers confirmed.
So we start the game, I'm going to just pause it briefly, we start the game and we already feel like we're on the back foot. Isn't that interesting, the way they present it as, you know, you're fighting against an enemy heretofore unseen, that seems to be very easily able to take down androids.
11B down. Our HO2
I won't do that too much, I won't pause, but I didn't want to get in the way of the dialogue too much. Once we get into the game, I'll have more chances to talk
Alert.
about the things that
Enemy
I like.
unit sighted ahead.
Requesting permission to engage.
And as I mentioned, I will talk about the outfits as soon as we get a chance to actually take a look at it properly.
7E down.
So it's introducing these bullets pretty early, which will continue to come through the game, even if they're not in the shmup sections. There's those like
1E
red
down. Assuming captain's duty.
projectiles. They teach you very early on that you can shoot the projectiles to destroy them, and it seamlessly changes the view, gives you the heavy attack. So it's teaching you
Multiple
standard
surrounding enemy air
controls
units
for the whole
confirmed.
game, but in the
Requesting
context of this
permission to
flying
resume mobile
sequence. Very
configuration.
interesting.
Permission granted.
Another seamless perspective change. Teaching you that there will be moments where you have control over where you aim. I'm taking more damage than I should be.
Captain, I think...
4B down.
And not for the
2B
first
to
time,
operator
and not for the
6000.
last time.
All
2B
allied
is
units down.
alone.
The operation is
G'day, Tom.
compromised.
Thanks
Awaiting
for joining.
further orders.
Operator to 2B. We need you to rendezvous with Unit 9S and begin gathering data on
He's
the local
first.
terrain.
Understood.
And another seamless perspective change. And we enter the factory. A location that will become very familiar to us through the course of this game. Now it's sort of a Gradius style shmup, so within the first, how long have we been playing for? Not long. Oops. Taking quite a lot of damage. Still got those recoveries, so I'm fine. But, you know, in the first 5 minutes, we're already switching genre, setting a precedent that will be continued through the game. The game gives you a moment to recognize what's happening, where the change is coming from, and what you're going to be asked to do in the following sequence. It telegraphs it quite well. It doesn't. It might do it a little bit more later. It doesn't really like drop you into a situation you can't deal with, like a lot of other games that have similar like multi-genre aspects to them, where it's like suddenly you have to do a quick time event. Here she is, 2B. And there's that outfit that we alluded to earlier. We'll get through this fight and then I'll talk about the outfit.
Yes, I'm aware of that.
So this tutorial is going to be necessary for me because, as I mentioned, I haven't played the game in a minute, so I I will have to remember the controls. So we've got jump, got shoot, yeah, there's our dash, and I think it's our dodge too. Let's just get through the fight and then I'll start doing the fancy stuff. There we go, there's the lock on. It's so funny, the game doesn't really tell you about the lock on immediately. Slice.
Enemies destroyed.
Not quite.
We have our first Goliath unit.
Is that our target?
Negative. This enemy is unrelated. Proposal. Dispatch it as swiftly as possible.
I see you chatting, I'll be with you in a second.
Laser communications recovered.
2B, I'm transmitting your pod program.
Pod program download complete.
Now we can laser. Might have to reconfigure the controls. I'm remembering them to be different, so perhaps I had originally had them in a different configuration when I played it. Cool. Easy. G'day Yonso, thanks for joining. Stealing, it's not typically a the game I like to play on this channel,
Better
but
make
it's
sure he's actually dead next time.
one of my
That was
favorite games of all
dangerous,
time.
man.
Here we go, 9S. Okay, so let's catch up on the chat, see what we got here. What makes this game rate so much higher than the older games? Well, I don't know that it does. It's still saying that no one's watching, but I can tell that there's quite a few people here, but I don't know what's going on. Here's my copy of the original NieR. I think to this day, I might still enjoy this game more. I haven't played it in a while, so it's really hard to compare the two, which is part of the reason why I'm very excited for the remaster, re-release, remake that's coming out next year. Replicant. I love NieR. I love the original NieR. This game does a lot of the things that I love about our time. Oh, everyone's here. Wonderful. Whole gang. This game does a lot of what I like about the original NieR. It's got some stuff that I don't like as much, but I think the game feels better to play. I think it's that Platinum polish. Platinum being the development team for the bulk of the game. Yonso's got the McSpicy. Cool. Let's get out of the menu. We'll continue
You're 2B,
this
right?
dialogue for a moment.
My name's 9S. I'm here to provide support.
Copy that.
So, was that big old buzzsaw the Goliath you came here to take out?
No, just another defensive system.
Oh. Well, I guess we have to find the target then, huh? I've got a flight unit, so I'll take a look around the perimeter.
All right, I'll work my way inside from the ground.
Great. So, okay. First things first. Already received questions about 2B's appearance, and it's something I've discussed with a lot of people and thought about a lot myself, and I have a lot of opinions that I find it very hard to believe are not entirely biased, because obviously I love the game, I love 2B's design, I love the character, so part of me thinks that maybe my the beliefs that I have about her design are going to be skewed. So if you're skeptical of what I'm about to say about it, I understand. But I will say it comes from a place of knowing a lot of the themes of the series. To start, you know, no, like, this, you can be attracted to a fictional character. Like, you can do whatever you want. Like, you can, like, life's short, you know? And I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing to design a character to be attractive. But what I will say is that nothing else apart from the costume, or the uniform, I guess I should say. This is the Yoha uniform that 2B is sporting. Nothing else about the character is sexualized. She's never, there's not much like gaze put upon her by characters. No one ever comments on her appearance. 9S has feelings for her that develop, and there is the implication that he's attracted to her. And later on, there's the line that everybody talks about, where it's either Adam or Eve, one of the antagonists, tells him, like, oh, you're thinking about how much you want to fuck her, right? And he doesn't own up to it. It's not like, it's not something where he's like, yeah, I want to fuck her. It's like, oh, like, he gets really worried and upset about it. So there's that I don't think she's, apart from the way that she is dressed, I don't think she's sexualized as a character. Also, the way I look at her appearance, the way I look at this costume, I see it more as balletic than sexual. I see it as like a dancer's outfit. There is function in its minimalism. The slits in her dress allow, when she jumps, you can see, like, not this jump, but there are jumps where her legs go out. All of her kicking, all of her moves, her acrobatics require a lot of mobility, and I think that's a big part of the way she's designed. It looks more like a ballet dancer to me, the way that she moves and the way that she dresses. And I don't think we'd ever look at, like, someone in a costume for, like, a beautiful dance and think that that was, like, a sexualized, like, design. It might be, and maybe that's some stuff that can be talked about, like, in a broader sense, the way that we, like, the way that women costumes are designed by men to appeal to some base desire. But I think the touch points of this outfit are drawn more from why boy not in later. There are boys in this game that are straight up nude. That was the other point I was going to make. There are men in this game that are dressed scantily. And there are men characters that there are female characters in this game that are not. You know, there's lots of different types of outfits. Like, not all of the female characters in this game are dressed in the same way, and not all of the male characters in this game have full uniforms on. In fact, 9S, his uniform, he's got some shorts on. It kind of looks more in the same way that this costume is balletic to me. It seems like the kind of costume that, like, a partner in a dance would wear, where it's like kind of a smart, loose shirt tucked into a pair of shorts to allow that similar mobility. So look, that's like broadly my opinion. I know she's like horny or whatever, like that's part of it. Like she's got like curves, but I don't think the character is ever. I don't think you could ever accuse the way the character's written of being sexualized. And yeah, Tom makes a really good point. We can also acknowledge that it's a stylistic choice of the anime manga heritage. Steedling, the heels, I guess, are probably the most impractical part of the uniform, but there's also precedent for it in the design of other, like, characters in action games. And I don't necessarily think that they're problematic. However, maybe the history of anime and manga designs is problematic in general. But I don't think this character is, like, emblematic of any particular problem. And I think a lot of people put a lot of emphasis on 2B's character design as pointing to some kind of, like, problem with this game specifically. And I think of all of the characters that you could point to, I think this one's not the right one, because she is portrayed as being, like, strong, not just physically, but also, like, mentally and emotionally. she has like a real humanity to her that gets explored, and yeah, I don't think this is like an exploitative character design. That's it. Tom says, measured against the rest of the genre, she's substantially less horned up. I mean, if you compare it to someone like Bayonetta, in terms of character design, that character is designed to be gazed at. There are lingering shots of her curves. There is a lot of emphasis placed on her sexuality in the way that the character is written and designed, way more so than 2B, I think. Now, Yonso has brought up the mechanic in the game, the explosion mechanic, which removes a lot of the clothing, revealing a little bit more. Sure, that's gross. That's a bit gross. I don't love that. I don't love the shots when she's walking up, when she's climbing up ladders. It does linger a little on some areas, but I don't think you can judge the whole game for those moments. There are lore reasons, I think, Steedling, that are a little bit more subtle that we can get into. I think when we get to, we'll talk a bit more about it when we get to the Yorha ship, when we can meet a few more of the characters, and we can look at 2B's design against theirs. Over there. I think that might be a good idea to talk about it then. We've got plenty of time to talk about the designs of the characters. But yeah, you know, anime is also, like, that's part of it. And like I said, there are male characters that are dressed just as scantily. I don't think this is, like, a, you know, particularly, like, a problem with the way the women are designed in this game. But again, I'm maybe not the best person to make those judgments because I have a bias. I love the game, and I think the themes it explores are they're deeper than any particular problem that I might have with the design of one character or another. At least she doesn't look like a child, our timeline says. That's true. Yeah, she's not infantilized, and like I said, beyond the skimpy costume, she's not a sexualized character. Yeah. Steeling says 9S shows way too much knee. That's true.
Ma'am?
What is it?
I was going to send you the map data I collected earlier.
Do it.
Oh my god, our minimap. Brilliant minimap. One of gaming's best minimaps. The way that it moves with the camera angles that are constantly changing. God, I'm gonna have to get used to these controls or change them very slightly at some point. Okay. I'm also going to do something really quickly. I'm going to go to the weapons, and I'm just going to change the weapon set to swap Virtuous Treaty and Virtuous Contract. So I've got my heavy weapon on my light attack, and I've got my light weapon on my heavy attack, which I think actually feels like quite a bit better. I love the customizability of the game's action.
Exit confirmed.
There are so many different weapon types.
So open.
Negative. Nearby enemies are jamming our signal.
You know,
Nothing's
so
ever
many
easy.
configurations between them. I think I need to change it so that it auto aims. Once I've destroyed an enemy. So I think there is a way of doing that. I'll take a look at the options in a bit. Let's get through this intro. We've all seen this intro and we'll play it. And there's way more interesting stuff to talk about as we go. So what do we think about my hypotheses about the costume? Am I wrong? Am I off the mark? She is also, like, you know, yeah, like I said, it's okay to draw attractive characters, and she is attractive, so. Is this the place I came from? It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let's go back up. There's also a shortcut here.
I'm glad you're here.
Speedrunners can get across.
Why?
Scanners like me mostly work alone. Scouting out enemy lines and all that. I don't usually get a partner. It's kind of fun.
Emotions are prohibited.
Sorry, ma'am.
And another thing, stop calling me ma'am.
Huh?
It's unnecessary.
All right then. 2B it is.
So here's where we learn a little bit more about 2B, about her priorities. Emotions are prohibited, she says. We'll soon find that she doesn't live by that. This is a game that explores a lot of contradictions. A lot of the characters are very hypocritical. That is, like, hypocrisies are kind of opened up and really taken apart. And I think it's like a good theme for a video game to deal with hypocrisies, because a lot of the time in video games we're asked to be very hypocritical. There are games where you spend the entire time thinking of games like Uncharted, the Uncharted series, where you, as Nathan Drake, you kill dozens to hundreds of people per level, and then there is a cutscene where your character feels an immense amount of confliction over killing one individual.
I guess
like,
humans used to use it as a weapons factory, but now it's just crawling with machines. The enemy seems to have repurposed the facility to increase their overall machine production.
So if we don't destroy it, they'll just keep coming.
So the factory is used to build machines, to replicate the machines. This is, I guess, what you would call the first indication of what do they call? Man, I should have like a reference sheet of all of the terms that I wanted to use. Maybe someone in the chat can help me out. But what's the concept of like a self-actualized, self-replicating computer that builds upon itself indefinitely? It's the something. Singularity. Steven gets a point. That was the exact term that I was looking for. So we get the first indication that there is somewhat of like a singularity that's been achieved by these machine platforms. I did say this and put it in the tags. This stream is going to be extremely spoiler-filled. So if this is a game you've been thinking about playing, be warned. I'm going to be spoiling parts that are going to be coming up pretty frequently. I'll try not to touch too much on stuff that hasn't come up in the story yet, just because it won't be interesting to anyone who hasn't played the game. You know, little secret room here. We'll finish it there. Redizzle. Oh dear. Maybe, Tom, would you mind doing a little block or something of that? Oh, thank you, Art Time. Thank you, appreciate it. Okay. Also, here we get the first locked container that later on we learn we can hack using 9S. I'm really concerned about why it's showing that nobody's watching this. It's going to make it really strange when I upload it to YouTube and I'm talking to all these people that apparently aren't here. Open up the shortcut because we're going to be coming back here eventually. And then we continue. So yeah, a lot of
What?
pretty typical sci-fi concepts such as like the singularity.
Data from the old one.
Wait,
There's no actual meaning behind anything machines do.
There's no actual meaning behind anything machines do. So at this point, 9S is of the opinion that these machines are mindless. They are replicating and fighting on behalf of an alien threat. This is the alien army that we are destroying. They don't know anything about what they're saying. Of course, soon we learn that is entirely untrue. These machines feel and experience, and they understand. Some of them do. We get a lot of machines with me later who have learned enough about humans to want to, well, not necessarily even to want to, but to believe that they can live in the same way as the humans do, or did. Oh yeah, spoilers. No, that's okay, Tom, don't worry about it. That was just a little spam bot. But yeah, I guess right off the bat, it's important to also know that the androids, or the beings that 2B belongs to, are fighting on behalf of the humans, and the machine life forms, these enemy creatures, are fighting on behalf of the aliens that took over Earth. However, both the humans and the aliens are in fact dead, and each of these sides is fighting for a group of people that no longer exist. Which is like important. The sort of the nihilism of the situation is like important to keep in mind as you meet characters, go places, find out more about what happened on Earth and why, and then as we move forward, think about what the future for these artificial beings looks like. All of them also, we learn, their bodies are somewhat temporary. Both the machine life forms and the androids have the ability to upload their consciousness, or the equivalent, machine equivalent of consciousness, to a database and replicate themselves, keeping their core or their soul intact, or whatever you would, maybe machines don't have a soul, but I guess that's what we're learning in this game. So also these top-down moments, it's so cool that they put them in the game to contextualize the shmup elements from the intro and combine it with the 3D action of the rest of the game. Also going back to the original NieR, that game played a lot around with perspective, but it didn't really do the bullet hell style top-down or from the side stuff as much as this game does, but it did have like similar projectiles that you had to weave in and out in a third-person perspective. So what this game did by taking that core concept and really like pushing it pushing the genre, combining the shmup and bullet hell stuff with the action stuff, I think is like masterful. I think it's like a really wonderful pairing that is it's a real like achievement in gaming, I think. One of many big achievements that this game has, I think. Because we got that intro where we're flying, it's like, whoa, what is this game? Like, I thought we were playing a 3D action adventure, or an RPG. And then, you know, you get to that bit, you learn all of the action controls, and then it takes you to a top-down part like this, and you realize, like, oh, all video games are the same. Like, gaming is, you know, it's not, they're not all the same, but like, gaming is like a conversation of media similar to film, or to literature, where, you know, you can take these elements that seem disparate and unrelated, and you can put them together.
Analysis. This elevator's controls are locked
Still come
and
back
cannot
here
be
later.
used.
And you can use those combinations of elements to say something, to show something.
I surveyed the entire
It's
factory,
artful.
but couldn't find anything resembling our target.
Maybe they, I don't know, moved it somewhere?
Maybe they moved it somewhere. Let's find out. So when I first played this game,
that?
oh yeah, here we go, birds.
You mean the birds? Yeah, there's more plants and animals here than there used to be. Probably because the environment's changed.
The environment's changed. The humans are no longer here. It's just the machines. So the machines don't care about trimming forests back, or you know, anything like that. They let the wildlife return. That's fair. Yash says that it's not. It doesn't look like a kind of game that they'd enjoy. Understandable. I mean, it's like not every game is for everyone, right? But I think the cool thing about NieR Automata as like a piece of media rather than like a game that you would play is that I think anyone who's familiar with any game can see sort of outside of like the story, what the story is trying to say about like sort of like post-humanist questions of like what a soul is, what a human is, what a body is, what a mind is. I think what the game says about games is just as, if not more, interesting than those themes. And I'll be exploring a lot of that stuff too. The NieR series feels like Yoko Taro's love letter to
There should be
video
another
gaming
facility across that bridge.
as
it's a bit of a hike,
form
but
of
should we check it
communication.
out? It's not like Command to get a location wrong. I guess even they get bad intel from time to time, huh?
I wouldn't bet on that.
You know, even something as simple as what we understand an interface to be in a video game, what we understand like a user interface. There's a lot of commentary on that.
Alert. High-power jamming detected. No response from long-range communications.
Doesn't matter. I'll just take a look.
Oops. Can't quite reach it there. It's a little bit closer, gets me straight ahead, so. Oops. Got that auto heal on, so that's fine. Love the visual, the way this boss like visually deteriorates and breaks down as you take its health away, losing chunks off the rotator blades. Can't attack that one anymore. I did.
Is that?
G'day Andy,
Target
thanks for joining.
detected.
Yeah, Steedling, that's the mechanics of the game are like ludologically the game has a lot going on, and a lot of the mechanics are directly tied to the themes that they're exploring in the narrative. I think as like a combination of narrative and mechanics, this game is about as good as it comes in video gaming. 10k asks how the blades don't do anything to the ground. I'm not sure. I guess that's a bit of a suspension of disbelief that you're going to have to do, unfortunately. So this moment here is probably the closest moment so far that we see to the gameplay style of the original NieR, which a lot of the time had you combating one enormous creature that has like cycles of attacks, and you use a combination of your gun. The original NieR has an equivalent to the pod program, the pod that flies by your side, who I'll also get the panel on the thoughts about too. Right, I'm remembering now. The ground is also a robot, that's correct. Everything is a robot. Well, I mean, part of the factory is a robot, so not impossible to believe. There we go, moving from character to character.
This is the target. I'm going to destroy it.
Right. I'll provide support.
Oops.
Alert. Incoming enemy attack from below. Proposal. Evade.
Epic got Yonso while we were watching him play this a couple of weeks ago. That was a big part of the reason that I wanted to replay the game was watching Yonso stream it for the first time. Remembering what it was like to experience a lot of the twists of the game for the first time. But also just like hearing the music and the sound effects and dialogue, just, you know, brought back a lot of memories. There's Nines. What's up? I think that laser didn't get produced, unfortunately. So I originally thought this was Marx. This is actually a lot of the robots are named after philosophers and
Hacking in.
great thinkers. I don't think that the names that they have much to do with the characters themselves. Occasionally they do. We'll meet a couple that have some loose links to their namesakes. But I love the idea of using the names of communist philosophers to name these enormous factory robots. I think that's very clever.
9S! Nine
9S black box signal detected. No response to communications.
I'm going...
Exactly. Yash has Marx's brain transplanted into a robot. That's exactly what we've got here. Imagine.
Send a support request to command.
Negative. Communications have been jammed.
At this stage, I'm going out of my way to attack most enemies. You can avoid a lot of them, but I do. I like to level up. I like to be a little bit over leveled for some of the fights that are coming out, which are, even at this normal difficulty, are a little on the tough side. Here we can see like the mobility of 2B enhanced by the slits in the dress and her free legs. again, the view most of the time when you climb a ladder is a little problematic, but I think it's displayed like there is a reason practically why that element exists.
9S! I have to help 9S.
I will.
I have to repair him. Pod, get me staunching gel and logic virus vaccines. Then access the—
Inadvisable. The subject's vital signs are too poor to attempt field repair in
Shut up!
current...
Just do what I say!
Immediately, let me just pause here. To be going back on what she said earlier, mere minutes ago when she told 9S that emotions were prohibited, and immediately showing her hypocrisy.
To be...
Great writing.
Just go.
You shut up too!
We're soldiers. We take pride in our service.
HO-229 Flight Unit. Command 677 received. Usage rights transferred from 9S to 2B.
The way the pod
Requesting
slots into the
acknowledgement.
flight unit. Very cool.
Please.
The designs of Yorha and all of their technology are so holistic. It's all... Everything has like a purpose. It's really interesting. The way everything kind of fits together. Nothing is like superfluous. It's all very sleek. The way that the androids fit in the flight unit, the pod is with them. Yeah, really interesting.
It talks? I didn't know the machines had that kind of intelligence.
To be... I found a
You will,
weakness in the target. Hacking in. To provide support. To be... The control on the enemy's upper arm. Use your pod. Should be able to take it over.
I told you to shut up!
Taking pretty obvious hits, but I've got tons of recovery, so...
Control.
And the scale of the game as well is
From
so
enemy
good.
unit. Marking weak
The way
point.
distance is used to indicate size. A recurring theme throughout the game.
Seize its control system.
Affirmative. Infiltrating enemy subunit. Behavior table adjusted.
This
Balance
moment in the
controls
intro as well.
overridden. Enemy unit subjugation complete.
I'll wait till this is done. But this moment here is a really great foreshadowing to a moment that comes in the second half of the game during ending B and ending C and D, when you take control of A2, who we'll meet at some point today. The end of Pascal's whole storyline, which is easily the most heartbreaking part of the entire game. A game full of heartbreak.
Die already!
This whole sequence, that fight with the Goliath unit taking control of its arm and feeling like the weight of that swing. Later on, when we take control of the Goliath unit ourselves, spoilers again, we really, it's, I don't know, it's a nice foreshadowing to that.
Bringing the battle to them. To be.
Contact command. Request assistance.
No. It doesn't look like that's going to be necessary.
Oh, great.
And here's where the demo for this game ended. This was where these final moments here are
I don't imagine that
the end of the demo that was
This is
available
going
for
to
free
end
before the
well.
game came out, which was just such a revelation. I don't know if you could really understand.
it's ready.
I'll wait till this is done and I'll go through it. I've got so many thoughts. Can't stop talking. Thanks again for joining, everyone who's hanging out. Really appreciate it.
Requesting destruction of enemy hostiles via black box reaction.
Request accepted.
Doobie, it was an honor to fight with you. Truly.
The honor was mine.
Boom. So yeah, the demo ending there, and having been a fan of the original NieR, and having played it years before any kind of critical reevaluation of the game had happened, because it wasn't until the announcement of this game that I think a lot of people even heard of NieR. I think a lot of people had heard of Drakengard. This was like a pretty popular PS2 game from what I can remember. I knew a few people who played this in high school. I think it was high school. What year did this come out again? Yeah, 03, 04. But NieR was far less popular and critically panned. A lot of critics didn't play the whole game, and so didn't get to the big... I won't spoil this game because this is not a spoiler stream of NieR. It's a spoiler stream of NieR Automata. I will be talking about this game a lot though, but I won't spoil the twists that happen. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll have to. Maybe I'll be forced to, but right now I won't. And I think a lot of people, a lot of critics when they were reviewing this, didn't get far enough into NieR to learn what was good about it, which I know is like a bit of a cop-out. I will say, I won't spoil what happens exactly, but similarly to this game, where you have to beat it multiple times in order to get more of the story, that happens in this game, but it's spelled out for you way less. When you beat this game for the first time, it seems to be done. Doesn't really give you much of an indication that there's anything else. In fact, there is more. There's heaps more. The first time you beat it is a quarter of the way through the game, and then you replay a lot of sequences with additional understanding and knowledge of the world, which is kind of what they do in this. In NieR Automata, it's more like a direct continuation of the story as you get each ending. But for NieR, it is literally like a replaying of a lot of sequences with more information and more interaction with a lot of characters and understanding of the motivations of some of those characters. And I think what happened when NieR came out was it got panned, it got sort of ignored by a lot of people, and then over the years a lot of people realized what NieR was doing, or what it had done, and began to build like a bit of a cult following, which is why I ended up playing it. I didn't play it till so it came out in 08, I think, 2010, and I probably didn't play it till 2011, 2012, upon the insistence of a few friends of mine who knew what I liked in games, and it was amazing. So for me, then years later, nearly half a decade later, for NieR Automata to be announced, a sequel to this cult game that I loved, and then to play the demo and have it be that opening sequence of the game, so different. It's a completely different setting, completely different characters, seemingly completely different, unrelated story. And then the more of it you play, the more links you see. And obviously there are a lot of connections, but It was not apparent from the demo, but it was such a good demo. It really made me even more excited than I thought I could possibly be. Yash asks, does that get tedious at all? I'm assuming referring to replaying
mission complete
NieR
and all
multiple
that,
times.
Huh? The Goliaths were wiped out, and we secured a route into enemy territory. Now we can...
Oh, why is the text moving so slowly? Maybe I can
9S.
fix that.
Yeah?
Thank you for uploading my data to the bunker.
So that was the other thing, is I wasn't sure how they were going to continue the game if your characters die in the opening. And then they reveal that the consciousness is able to be uploaded to a database and re-downloaded into a new body.
I did that? Sorry, I don't remember. There wasn't a whole lot of bandwidth down there, you know? I probably only had enough time to back up your memories. Mine are only intact up to the point just before we rendezvoused.
I see.
So it's important to realize that 9S doesn't remember any of what just happened.
Glory to mankind.
And that 2B does not remind him. And we see here a moment of, don't know what that is. Resolve? We do want to connect to the network. Yash, to answer your question, kind of. It's really hard to go into without getting into major spoilers, but what I will say is that in NieR, the creatures you are fighting as your enemy, a moment of cheeky thigh, you're right, just cheeky thigh, but the focus was on the hand, not the thigh, I think. In the first playthrough of NieR, the creatures you're fighting that you believe are your enemies are called shades, and in your second playthrough, you can actually understand what the shades are saying. In the first playthrough, they're speaking in sort of a garbled nonsense language. And in the second playthrough, you get not only voice lines, but you also can see dialogue boxes from certain boss enemies. You learn about their motivations as creatures, as individuals with personalities, and it is an immense revelation. Every interaction you then have moving forward through the game has a level of understanding and of weight that it didn't have the first time through. And when you realize this, it happens. It happens the first time you can understand what the shades are saying, and then suddenly it's like, oh well, I've got to go back and re-experience all of those confrontations with those bosses and with those other enemy creatures, and learn more. Your character can't understand what they're saying, but you as the player can understand what they're saying. So you re-experience these things, and then they're kind of with that new understanding, that new knowledge, different things happen, and the endings change as you play each time. So you're ending A, B, C, and D. They're a different ending each time because you make different choices. So there are moments of tedium, but only, yeah, I don't know how much to spoil about the original NieR. I'm probably not going to do too much spoiling about the original NieR. So we can save now, finally. Get out of breath talking. So excited. Here we go. Bit of backstory.
The year mankind's glorious history came to a sudden and abrupt end, when the world was invaded by aliens from beyond the stars. The aliens unleashed a new breed of weapon, machine life forms, that all but annihilated human civilization. The handful of survivors that remained...
Hello, Julian. Thank you for joining.
...seeking refuge on the moon. 5204 AD. Humanity launched its counterattack, deploying an army of androids from a network of
that's right,
bases.
You want to re-experience it with that new information.
Large-scale descents upon the enemy, we still haven't managed to repel the invaders. That is why you, the Yorha forces, exist. To break this stalemate, once and for all. You are our ultimate weapon, and you must put an end to this war.
Thank you for lurking and listening, Julian. Appreciate your presence.
I wish you good hunting.
Glory to mankind.
Glory to mankind.
Glory to mankind.
So again, a reminder, humans are dead. So that's a pre-recording. And the reason for that is we'll learn. So we'll get to that point. Maybe not today, but... Oh, you just got to the third playthrough, Julian? Yeah, that's where the game really starts. So now, yeah, here's the first moment where the interface of the game is like a mechanic in itself. And you realize that suddenly, you know, all of the stuff you've been experiencing, the menu, the lock-on system, the information you've got on your screen, is it's diegetic. It's part of what the androids experience. Oh, Julian, I can't promise that I won't spoil it. This is going to be pretty spoiler heavy. I won't go into too many specifics. I'll try my best. Yash, thanks for joining. See you later. But yeah, we get the first explicit indication that the menu itself is part of the android's experience. And now we've got this moment where we can adjust the screen brightness. And 9S is talking to us, asking us if we need any additional help. And this entire process is being recorded for posterity. Important to remember, this comes back later. This is a stroke of genius, this moment right here. Oh, Yonzo, you're fine. Feel free to lurk. Appreciate you being here at all. I know you also just recently played this game, so a lot of this stuff is going to be pretty fresh in your mind. So now we get the voice volume, and as we increase it, we hear 9S.
Could you try and pick up the pace a little bit? This is getting embarrassing. Ma'am?
And if you let it go, he just keeps going.
Go ahead and adjust your settings so you... Alright, are we good now?
And then here's another fun option that we get straight away. We can say something nice to 9S. I actually have never not picked this option. I'm gonna try not picking it this time.
Okay, settings should all be good to go. Hold on. Your self-destruct permissions are missing. Wait a sec, we need to restore those.
And this is another interesting choice that you get to make. The game doesn't explicitly tell you that you can make.
Yourself. Regulations and all, you know?
So the game asks you to turn this on, or 9S asks you to turn this on. The game gives you the option of not turning it on. And here's what happens if you don't.
Wait, no. You need to leave that turned on. Yeah, you can't really do that. It needs to be turned on except in very specific cases. I'm afraid I can't leave this as is, ma'am. Please give your permission. Hey, come on now. I'm just trying to follow regulations here. Hey, come on now. I'm just trying to follow regulations here. Hey, come on now.
Okay.
Okay, good. If things go wrong during an op, you may have to sacrifice yourself in order to finish it. So, once you're finished making adjustments, you can go ahead and close this out.
And now you can turn it back off.
I know no one likes the idea of self-destructing, but that's what regulations call for. Still, I'll keep it a secret from the commander.
9S goes out of his way to help you out here. So I'm going to leave that off. And I never really used the self-destruct in my playthrough. Julian asked if I could explain the Replicant remaster. As I was mentioning before, the original NieR originally came out just as NieR. This version was later retitled NieR Gestalt. And this was an Xbox 360 exclusive upon release. It was then re-released on the PS3 as NieR Replicant, with a different design for the protagonist. And next year we'll be getting a remaster of NieR Replicant with that design. I'm keeping myself pretty in the dark about the remaster. I want to experience it kind of spoiler-free. Which is, I mean, obviously there's only so much that I can experience spoiler-free because I know that story so well. I have a feeling they're going to change some stuff. I don't know that for sure, but, you know, while we're on this screen, I'm going to take a break. Hello, Soph. I'm just going to go to the bathroom. I've been drinking a lot of water, so, and then I'll be back and we can continue.